England walks into this match with a familiar kind of weight, the kind that does not show on the shirt but sits in the air before kickoff. Croatia does not arrive like a stranger. They arrive with memory behind them, with an old wound England has never completely closed. Around the tournament, everything can still feel new, yet this matchup carries a shadow that refuses to stay in the past. England will want the first minutes to feel controlled, almost ordinary, as if the ball can quiet everything history keeps whispering. Croatia will understand the value of patience. They do not need to scare England immediately. They only need to make the night stay close long enough for the old doubt to start moving again. One early pass played too safely can tell a story. A tackle near midfield can make the rhythm tighten. England cannot treat control like comfort, because Croatia has built entire nights out of waiting for the favorite to become uneasy. That is where the favorite first feels the past breathing beside the ball. The wound opens slowly, then everyone hears it. The danger for England is not only Croatia's quality. It is the way Croatia can make the game feel older than it is. A simple spell of possession can begin calmly, then suddenly every touch carries a memory attached to it. England may push the ball wide, search for speed, try to make the match younger and faster. Croatia will drag it somewhere else if they can. They know how to keep the ball just long enough for the opponent to feel late to its own plan. That kind of control can be cruel because it does not look violent. It keeps England working without giving them a clean moment to release the pressure. The favorite can become impatient without noticing the moment it happened. A press that begins with discipline may turn into one extra step. A defender may feel the urge to win the ball before the shape is ready behind him. Croatia does not have to dominate every minute. The danger is quieter than domination, and that makes it harder to escape. That delay is where the old wound starts to feel useful again. They only have to make England remember that some matches are not escaped by running faster. England's best route is to make the match sharp before the ghosts settle. Quick attacks can loosen Croatia's shape if the timing is clean. But the problem with this fixture is that nothing stays purely tactical for long. The moment England misses a chance, the air can change. It might be something small, a final touch arriving late enough to turn promise into regret. The crowd will feel it before the players admit it now. Croatia will feel it too, and that is where the match begins to turn inward. They can take energy from England's almost moments. Every missed opening gives them more reason to slow the next phase, to pass through pressure with a coldness that irritates the favorite. England cannot let near chances become emotional debt. The old wound feeds on that. The longer the first goal waits, the louder that almost becomes inside the favorite. Croatia will treat that noise like another player on the pitch. It does not need a goal to return. It only needs England to start wondering whether the night is becoming familiar for all the wrong reasons. Croatia can hurt England most in the spaces where control becomes too proud. If England pushes high and believes the ball is secure, the danger begins behind the confidence. Croatia may look contained for several minutes, then one clever release can make the pitch turn around. The first backward run is often more important than the chance itself. It tells the favorite the match has teeth. England will still have the bigger expectation, but expectation cannot sprint back into open grass. That is where Croatia can make the old wound feel fresh again. A pass through midfield does not need to be spectacular if it catches England leaning forward. The crowd may rise because the attack looks promising at first, then fall into a different silence when the counter starts. England must keep ambition from becoming permission. Croatia will wait for that permission. In that single turn, the past can feel present again, near enough to change the whole match. They have lived inside these margins before, where one calm touch can make a favorite suddenly look exposed. The emotional center of the match may not belong to the team with more possession. England can have the ball for long spells and still feel the night refusing to bend. That is the danger of facing Croatia. They can make survival look deliberate. A blocked cross becomes less like luck after it happens again. A cleared ball, if it lands near another Croatian shirt, can make England feel as though the match is quietly refusing them. Frustration will not arrive as panic. You hear it in a pass struck too hard when softness was needed. Then a run goes early, not because the space is ready, but because waiting has become uncomfortable. England has to avoid arguing with the clock. Croatia will try to make every minute feel useful, even the ones where they do very little on the surface. The longer the score stays close, the more England has to play against what the match is doing to their nerves. The ball may still belong to England, but the mood can start drifting elsewhere. Croatia will know when that drift begins. That drift can make attacks feel heavier than the last. That is how the old wound gets its voice back. There is also a strange calm Croatia can bring, and it may be more dangerous than aggression. The ball moves from one foot to another with a slow assurance that makes England feel the game slipping into someone else's hands. England will want noise, speed, proof that they can break the past before it settles in. Croatia can answer by making the match breathe slower. That contrast matters. If England starts forcing the moment, the spaces between their lines can begin to stretch. Croatia will look for those spaces with patience rather than panic. Even when they defend, they can make England feel watched. A harmless touch near the halfway line can become the beginning of a longer spell that cools the favorite down. England must keep intensity without letting it harden into desperation. The wound is not just in the memory of a lost night. It returns through the calm that makes a favorite doubt its own tempo, quietly and without hurry. It is in the fear that control may not be enough when Croatia refuses to rush again. Group L gives this match a sharper edge than a normal opener. England knows a clean start can settle the noise around them, but Croatia understands what an uncomfortable result would do to the room. It would travel beyond the scoreboard and sit beside every question that follows. England cannot afford to make the group feel heavy from the first night. Croatia, on the other hand, can make the entire table feel different by surviving longer than expected. That is why the match has pressure before either side has earned or lost anything. England will want the path to look clear early, yet Croatia can make clarity feel expensive with each minute that refuses to break. The other teams in the group will notice if the favorite looks reachable. The crowd may still see a famous shirt moving forward, but the tournament reads body language quickly. The opener can become a mark before the group has even taken shape. Marks like that are difficult to hide. One uneasy opener can follow a team for days, waiting behind every answer before the next tunnel opens. The final stretch of a tight England-Croatia match would carry a different temperature. England might be attacking with the ball near dangerous areas, but belief changes when the score keeps refusing to move. Inside the body, hope starts sounding less clean. Croatia knows that feeling. They will not need to celebrate every clearance. Sometimes walking back into shape calmly is enough to make the favorite feel the clock louder. England must be careful with the emotional rush that comes late. A rushed shot gives Croatia the breath it needed. Lose the next pass in the wrong place, and the stadium can turn from hopeful to anxious in seconds. The old wound does its best work there, when the match is close and the mind starts filling the silence with memory. The fear is not loud at first. It arrives in the pause after another chance disappears, long enough for Croatia to breathe. England begins pushing against the ending as if force can tear it open. Croatia lets that pressure stare back until it becomes uncomfortable. If the favorite begins to blink, the night may start feeling less like a new match and more like something returning. So England enters with expectation on its shoulders, but Croatia brings a past that refuses to stay buried. That is what makes this match feel dangerous. England can win it if their rhythm becomes sharp early and the old wound is kept silent before it finds air. But if the night stays close, Croatia will begin growing into every uncertain touch England leaves behind. The favorite must prove that control is still command, not a disguise for fear. Croatia only needs one opening to make the whole stadium remember. At the World Cup, history does not walk onto the pitch as a memory. It hides inside the silence after a chance dies, then waits behind a team that believes it is safe. England will have to earn calm in a match designed to test it. The longer Croatia remains alive, the heavier every English pass becomes. The old wound is patient, and that patience makes it dangerous when the favorite starts listening now. The scoreboard may begin at 0, but the wound is already waiting under the noise. And if England blinks, Croatia will not need permission to open it again.